إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا يهد الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتون إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا إن خير حديث كتاب الله وخير حج محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Brothers and sisters, we praise Allah the Almighty. We bear witness that nothing deserves to be worshipped except Allah, and we bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Allah's messenger and his servant. Today's message is very, very simple. Who are we? We share this planet, 196,940,000 square miles, with 8 billion people. 2 billion Muslims, 2 billion Christians, 1,100,000,000 Hindu, 500 million Buddhists, 50 million Sikhs, and about 13 million Jews. And everyone has the right to practice their religion how they seem fit. La ikraha fi din, there's no compulsion in religion. But today I want to talk about those 2 billion Muslims. We. Al-Muslimu akhul Muslim. Simple. A Muslim is a brother of a Muslim. La tadkhulu jannah hatta tu'minu wa la tu'minu hatta tuhabbu. You will never go to Jannah until you believe. and you will never believe until you love one another. Today I'm asking the question about the 2 billion Muslims, our relationship with one another. About 2 years ago, I was in the airport, Newark Airport, and I was in the wrong terminal, and I was looking around trying to find out how to get to the right terminal. And when I did that, a car came in front of me, a man opened the window and said, "Do you need help?" I said, "Yes, I'm trying to get to this terminal." He said, "Get in the car." And when I got in the car, he said, "Assalamu alaikum." There was nothing about him to make me think he was Muslim. He didn't have a kufi. You don't have to have a kufi to be a Muslim. He didn't have a beard, sunnah. He didn't have a kameez. But I looked like a Muslim. Therefore, he gave me salams. I could be the worst Muslim in the world, but I looked like a Muslim. I said to him, "Wa alaikum salam." He said to me, "Me and my wife have been married for years and never had children. Can you make a dua?" He will never know. For at least 1 week straight, every day I begged Allah, "Oh Allah, help this man and his wife to have children." I go to Memphis, Tennessee, and there's a Muslim brother who says to me, he knows Imam Siraj. So, "Imam Siraj, me and my wife been married and never had children. Can you make dua?" I said, "Of course." I did the same thing. At least a week. "Yeah, Allah." I go back the next week. The same brother comes to me with a baby in his hand. And he puts the baby in my arms and says, "Imam, thank you for the dua." Go back to New York, 7-Eleven, 2 blocks from my masjid, owned by Muslim, manager Muslim. The manager comes to me, said, "Imam Siraj, me and my wife been married, don't have any children." I said, "Yeah, I got this." So I made the dua, same thing. So a couple of days later, I said, "Anything yet?" He said, "No." I asked so much, I stopped. About 2 months later, he said, "Imam, alhamdulillah, my wife is pregnant, and when they had the baby, they took the baby picture and they sent it to me." What am I saying? I'm saying that our love for one another is the best kind of love. The question is, do we really believe? 6,500 miles from here, a city called Gaza, our brothers and sisters. I know you've done much, you have, I know that. I don't even know how much you've done, but you've done much, I know that. But yet we will never, ever give up on our brothers and sisters from Gaza. And I want you to know that there are other Muslims suffering around the world too. We should have the same kind of compassion. The Rohingya Muslims in Bangladesh, Uber Muslims in China, and all over the world where there are people suffering, we should do something, we should make a difference. Today, I want to show you the greatness of our Prophet ﷺ and the love that he had for us. لا تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا ولا تؤمنوا حتى تحبوا. You will never go to Jannah until you believe, and you never believe until you love one another. I've come to the conclusion, brothers and sisters, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guided us in such a way that all Muslims around the world are together in their belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to leave you with these words about our relationship. The entirety of the Quran and Sunnah answers the question, what's in it for me? I will show you from the very beginning of the Quran to the very ending, what's in it for me? The Prophet ﷺ said, Allahu fi awni abdi ma kana abdu fi awni akhihi. Allah will help his slave to the degree that a slave helps his brother. I'm going to show you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how great He is in giving. The Prophet ﷺ said that there was a man in the desert once and he was thirsty. And he came across the well and he went down in the well and quenched his thirst. And when he came out of the well, he saw a dog, a kalboon, a dog, licking its tongue in the dirt. And he said that this dog is suffering from what I'm suffering from. So the man went back in the well, took out a shoe, put water in the shoe, and gave water to a dog. And the Prophet ﷺ said, of course, Allah saw it. And Allah said three things. Number one, shakar Allah lahu. Allah was grateful for what he did. Wa ghafar Allah lahu. Allah forgave him. What? Forgave him his sins for giving water to a Muslim? No. To a human being? No. To a dog. And listen to the last one. Wa adkhulu jannah. Entered him into Jannah because he gave water to a dog. So brothers and sisters, today I simply say, do you love one another? Let us love one another for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Walhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I asked one of the students, if you had one wish, what would you wish for? He said, Imam, I would wish that me and my family go to Jannah. I said to him, I thought you would say that. The Prophet ﷺ said that every prophet was given a dua that Allah would answer. And he said the prophets, they hurried to make their dua. He said, I kept mine until Yawm al-Qiyamah. I held my dua, my wish until Yawm al-Qiyamah, so that I would be a shafa'ah for my ummah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. What do you mean, shafa'ah? That means that I would intercede on behalf of my ummah on Yawm al-Qiyamah. Subhanallah. Our relationship is so deep, it goes beyond the grave. Let me give you one example. Do you know that every once in a while, the people in Jannah can see the people in hell? And the people in hell can see the people in Jannah? Let me give you two examples, one from Quran. مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي سَقَرَ. Why are you in the hellfire? قَالُوا لَمْ نَكُنْ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. I was not those who used to make salat. Are you serious? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave the commandment to the Prophet ﷺ to make salat, how many prayers did he tell him to pray? 50 prayers a day. فَرَجَعْتُ بِذَلِكَ حَتَّى مُرَاتُ عَلَى مُوسَى. And I returned with it until I ran into Moses. Musa, what did the Lord order you? 50 prayers? No. فَرْجِعْ إِلَىٰ رَبِّكَ فَإِنَّ أُمَّتَكَ لَا تُطِيقُ ذَلِكَ. Go back and ask your Lord to reduce it because your ummah won't be able to do that. Musa, he's experienced. He knows. He dealt with people. He knows. So he goes, Allah reduces it, and you know the hadith, it continues to reduce it until it's five prayers a day. Now, I want to express this thing that will happen on Yawm al-Qiyamah. The people in Jannah will look down and see the people in hellfire. And some people they will recognize. ربنا إخواننا كانوا يصلون معنا ويصلون معنا ويصومون معنا. Allah, our brothers, we used to pray with them. We fasted together. We made Hajj, tahajjuna ma'na. We made Hajj with them. What will Allah say? Allah will say, take out of the hellfire those whom you recognize. Why? Because our love went even beyond the grave. I'm going to conclude with this hadith that I wish the people of America would know and understand it. The Prophet ﷺ, unsur akhaka zaliman aw mazluman. Help your brother, if he is an oppressor or oppressed. Our Prophet ﷺ was a provocative teacher, meaning he provoked you to think. Help your brother if he's oppressed. Sahaba said, yes, yeah, of course. If he is oppressed, yeah, but what if he's the oppressor? He says, stop him from his oppression. This is the love that we have for one another. The love that we have for one another is not you do what you want to do. The love that we have for one another is that we want you to have the best. And I'm going to give you one example. Most of you probably heard of this man in Minneapolis years ago. I think it was 2020. And he was arrested for carrying counterfeit. And when he was arrested in Minneapolis, a police officer named Derek Chauvin threw George Floyd on the ground and put his knee on his neck. And George Floyd said, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. 9 minutes. He had his knee on his neck. And he died. 3 officers are right there. They did nothing about it. The people were gathered saying, he can't breathe, he can't breathe. If they only understood this hadith, help your brother. If he's an oppressor, by stopping him. What happened? The city of Minneapolis had to pay $27 million to the family of George Floyd. Derek Chauvin, who put his knee on his neck, was charged and went to prison, gone to prison for 23 years. But what about the other 3 police officers? They were arrested too. Well, they didn't put their knee on his neck. It's called aiding and abetting. They could have done something about it, but they didn't. So they were punished. It's a rule, it's a law, it's an understanding. The beauty of Islam is that when you care, it shows. A few years ago, I was in Los Angeles, and I was in the Doubletree Hotel. I'll never forget. Every room had a card that said, when you care, it shows. And I've come to the conclusion that when you care, it shows, and when you don't care, it shows. I wish that our country, the leaders of our country, it's our country, I wish they understood this principle. They think that you show loyalty to a leader that whatever the leader say, you do. No, we don't believe in that. We believe in principle. Allah is the one. So brothers and sisters, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all of us, to make us good believers. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us Jannatul Firdaus. We ask Allah the Almighty to help us, to help this country, to make this country better. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أطعنا. ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته الذين من قبلنا. ربنا لا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. واغفر عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا وأنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. والحمد لله رب العالمين. إقامة الصلاة.